Right now, although certain groups in Afghanistan do pose a threat to the US, it is almost inconsequential compared to the threat posed to the US by China. In a manner of speaking, it makes a lot more sense for the US to reconfigure its overseas strategic deployment and focus more military resources on the Indo-Pacific region. China is currently the USA's biggest competitor and threat. Why are so many people comparing Taiwan to Afghanistan? Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Nathan, and in this video I'm going to be talking about why this comparison is incorrect and why Taiwan is nothing like Afghanistan. Right about now, you're probably thinking, well Nathan, of course Taiwan is nothing like Afghanistan. Anybody with a 4th grade education could probably tell you that there are some very obvious differences between Taiwan and Afghanistan. Well, yes, you would be right, but that's not exactly what I'm talking about. Let me elaborate. The USA has actually been in Afghanistan for quite a long time, and as I recall, they went into Afghanistan as a response to the attacks on September 11, 2001. Coincidentally, this makes the Afghanistan War America's longest war ever. My understanding is that their main purpose for going into Afghanistan was to engage with Al-Qaeda and, to a lesser extent, the Taliban. For whatever reason, even though the US was in Afghanistan for so long, worked closely together with the Afghan soldiers, provided training and supplies, the end result was that their combined efforts were not enough. Now, of course, the whole situation is very complex, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I think it's safe to say that there are many different reasons as to why they ended up pulling out. However, I personally don't have a problem with them pulling out, and I think that could very well be the correct thing to do. However, I don't necessarily agree with how it was implemented, with how they pulled out. I do think it could have been a little bit more well organized and well implemented. Right now, although certain groups in Afghanistan do pose a threat to the US, it is almost inconsequential compared to the threat posed to the US by China. In a manner of speaking, it makes a lot more sense for the US to reconfigure its overseas strategic deployment and focus more military resources on the Indo-Pacific region. China is currently the USA's biggest competitor and threat. After the US pulled out of Afghanistan, many people claim that this gave them the impression that the US is no longer a reliable ally and that if China did attack Taiwan, the US would not assist. Personally, I disagree with this statement. The USA pulling out of Afghanistan is more a lack of competence and not necessarily a lack of credibility. The US can still be counted on to stand by and support their allies, especially Taiwan. This Indo-Pacific strategy has interesting implications, namely that it reassures the US's allies in the region that the US can still be counted on to provide various forms of defense and assistance should China take things too far. Next, a recent poll showed that 52% of Americans support military action or intervention if China decided to attack Taiwan. This is a record high percentage, and these sorts of results really do matter when it comes to policy making and decision making in the United States of America. There are clear and obvious benefits for Taiwan and other US allies to have the US allocate more of its military resources to this region. In many ways, Taiwan and the USA's other allies in the region, such as Japan and Australia in particular, all play a key role in working with the US to counter China's attempt to expand their influence around the world. Taiwan is of particular strategic importance, not only to America, but to many other countries around the world. Let me tell you why. For a start, the Taiwan Strait is a major global shipping route. If China took control of Taiwan, they could potentially have a lot more sway if they controlled the shipping routes in this area. Having Taiwan would be very strategically beneficial for China. Taiwan's strategic geographic location also acts as a sort of buffer between China and the other countries in the Indo-Pacific region. The fact that Taiwan engages in a positive way with much of the Western world and shares many of the same values as the USA is more reassuring for the USA and many other countries which rely on Taiwan. Taiwan is also a key player in the global tech supply chain, especially in regards to things like semiconductors and wafer tech. This tech is used in a variety of tech products, such as cars, video game consoles, and smartphones. Without these key components provided by TSMC and a few other companies in Taiwan, there very well could be global tech shortages. As we can see, from a strategical point of view, Taiwan is very, very important indeed. Japan and the US are allies, and the US is committed to defending Japan if Japan is attacked. Although America is not technically obligated to send troops to Taiwan, the Taiwan Relations Act does state that the US will assist Taiwan in maintaining defense capabilities against the threat of an invasion from China. Another point I'd like to add is that America is definitely sort of living up to its standards in regards to the TRA, because they are the biggest supplier of weapons to Taiwan. Taiwan is very well defended, and its geography makes it a very complicated and costly endeavor to invade. Taiwan's military also ranks 22 out of 140 countries, which is quite remarkable. Taiwanese military personnel are well trained and well disciplined. Taiwanese soldiers are tough and are of high quality compared to some of the other local military personnel around the world. In conclusion, America is still reliable and committed to supporting peace and stability in the region. America still shows very strong support for Taiwan for many various reasons, and I believe that they will continue to do so well into the foreseeable future. However, with that being said, Taiwan shouldn't become too complacent and shouldn't rely too much on other countries in regards to its defense. I feel that Taiwan should also take matters into its own hands and try its best to be well prepared and to defend itself if necessary. Okay everybody, that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!